Hello, Lune, and welcome back. It's been a while since we've had multiple concepts for an Anteam album, and while I very much enjoyed the Seasons album and the concepts for those, I am super excited to have multiple concepts I can break down and analyze for one album. To those that don't know me, hi, my name is B, and I make lore and theory videos usually for Enhypen, Anteam, and Islet. However, since I was here from the beginning, you'll find that I have so many thoughts and ideas to share for Anteam. And with Anteam's Korean debut very soon upon us, I couldn't be happier. Now last week, Anteam released content for the 3 versions of their album, Back to Life, called Breath, Gaze, and Roar. And in their previous concepts, especially in their content prior to last year, the photos and concept clips we see would relate to their hidden lore and even hint at what we may see in their story for their upcoming music videos. And this time is no different. I'd also like to first preface this breakdown by saying that while my videos are usually a little more related to their overall lore and their webtoon, complex theories about the Hive universe and other worlds are like my playground, and anytime I have a chance to make those connections in a way that makes sense, I will, which you can especially expect today. But first, we're going to quickly go through the story behind each concept and what they could mean for Anteam. Breath is the first concept trailer we see, and inside of it is a promise, a declaration of Anteam's willpower.
Defeat left scars on the boys. In the training room, they face those wounds head on.
Breath in Anteam's story is exactly that. When the world kicks them down and breaks them, instead of giving up, they take their final breath, and then another, gasping for air in a world that tries to make each breath their last. The boys, beaten and bruised, stand up and prepare to continue their fight. Each breath is a symbol of their will, their decision to keep moving forward. And though the world rings the bell to end the fight, Anteam stands firm, ready to knock on the gates of battle for the next round in their long journey. Gaze showcases a dream that's just too far out of reach. In this bizarre dreamscape, we see these 9 winged boys unable to escape this in-between place, this world that sits at the center of life and death. Much like a longed gaze, they look at their dream from far away, desire fueling their hearts. They then look from afar as their bright wish finally reaches this place of nowhere. And after a long journey, they finally reach this place of paradise, where their wishes can come true, in Roar. Roar signifies their howl reaching this long-desired place. However, this place of dreams is not what it seems. While these fae-like beings walk through this magical forest, an eerie feeling follows. And as the boys sink further into this paradise and bellow in their desires, what reality awaits from this fantasy-like dream? Dreams, desires, paradise? To some of you, this may all sound a little familiar. In their concept clips and photos, there are many elements that hint at some of the hidden lore we've mentioned before, like time, other worlds, alternate selves, dreams, and so much more. So, without further ado, let's dive in. The concept clip for Breath tells a story with its visuals and narration. We can easily see the connection it has to a long-fought battle. For example, the cuts and bruises that scar the bodies and faces of the 9 wolves, the bandages covering wounds that have yet to heal, and the boxing gloves they wear as they prepare for a fight. We also have Kay, who seems to ride on a noble steed, leading them into battle. This story is meant to introduce us to the story in Back to Life we will soon see, a long-fought battle and a strong desire and will to stand up and fight once again. A story that perfectly reflects Anteam's journey as a global group from Japan taking their next step and showing themselves to the world. But beneath all the grit and grime of this battle are hidden elements that connect to the lore of their world and others. And as I go through them, it may be wise to take notes of these when we move on to the other concepts. In this concept clip and in the photos, we once again see these mirrors. While it's not always the case, mirrors, or reflections, are a connection to other worlds and selves, and we see it with both Yuma and Nicholas. Yuma's mirror is shown in the photos, where he lies down near various reflections, and for Nicholas, we see it in the clip, where he watches the mirror as he practices boxing. But for him, It's as if the mirror, or his own world, glitches as we hear the sound stutter during the scene. We then notice that it's not him we're watching, but his reflection. It looks at his gloves as if it questions why they're fighting in the first place. It also makes you wonder if it's Nicholas standing alone in the ring, or if it's this reflection. Whoever it is, butterflies fly around him before we are taken back to a version of Nicholas who stands once again with his pack. While we haven't talked much about butterflies before, it is not the creature's first appearance in the Hive universe. In general, butterflies can represent change, a metamorphosis, a new beginning. But in the Hive universe, it also carries other meanings, like dreams, time, and the presence of magic. We've seen butterflies present both in TXT and Islet's lore, both groups known to use magic in their worlds. These butterflies are usually also present in TXT's paradise, the Magic Island, again, a place of dreams. As for time, think also of the butterfly effect in its relation to other timelines and dimensions. Honestly, the scene with them burning the butterfly with a match completely reminded me of Enhypen's MV XO, where the boys go through multiple timelines to save one girl. And somewhere in the music video, we see the wings of a butterfly also burn out in flames. There's also some lightning here, which reminds me of quite a bit of imagery in Enhypen's MVs also relating to time. Now, while these elements may not directly relate to Anteam's webtoon and novel, I personally do still believe that there is an overarching story happening in the music video version of their universe, where time is relevant. The same goes for Enhypen. But for now, let's move on to the next concept. Gaze and Roar are not as direct in their storytelling, and relies heavily on visual and auditory storytelling to deliver any sort of narrative the audience may perceive. Because of this, a lot of what one may deduct from these concept clips and photos is subjective to each person. Gaze, in my personal opinion, reminds me of a dreamscape. A liminal space in the middle of nowhere that could sit at the center of life and death, or even be some sort of weird, hazy dream. It's here that time flows, or doesn't flow, differently. And our 9 wolves are dressed like angels, which could honestly have so many different meanings in itself. One of them obviously being a connection to the godlike beings of themselves we've seen in Go In Blind, who we discussed are possibly the sons of Vargr. And most likely, that could be the connection this concept will have to their lore. However, there are other interpretations one may have of these winged boys. For example, they're dressed in what seems almost like Victorian-era outfits, which makes me think of 2 things. Either the poor boys that were lost due to their jobs as chimney sweepers, or the lost boys, children in the story of Peter Pan that some say actually had passed from the real world and live as young boys forever in the world of Neverland. And it's not the first time that one of their concepts has been compared to the Lost Boys. During the release of First Howling Wee's concept clips for Thirst, there were some comparisons that Lune would make to the story of Peter Pan. And in my analysis of the concept clip, we also talked about the bikes in one of the posters representing alternate versions of themselves that didn't make it to nowhere, or werewolves who didn't survive from being captives of the vampires. We also have the concept of angels and what they mean in media and literature. Angels are known to be messengers, a connection between God and humanity. However, not all angels are known to be good, as you have some who strayed from their original intention of this God's creation and fell, becoming what some would say is a demon, or a fallen angel. It could be said that some of the boys represent these fallen angels that have strayed from their given path. Though personally, I believe the vibes of the boys in this concept clip seem to give off that they have less control of the events around them and their surroundings. A few other things I want to point out in this clip and photos are the 4 wings we see here. 4 to me can represent the original 4 werewolves, Kay, Taki, EJ, and Nicholas. And though I'm not sure what the significance of it may be, it does make me curious if this may hint at the timeline we'll see in the MV. 4 is also a number that can mean death, as the Japanese pronunciation of it makes it similar to the word death in the same language as well. And as I'm sure you've noticed, death lingers in many ways within this concept clip, including when we see EJ kneeling over a pair of wings in one of his photos as well. Could these wings then represent someone who is lost? We then have the meteor falling from the sky. The 9 angels that observe could be a version of the boys who, as beings outside of time, could only watch as this meteor reached this earth, hence why death lingers and the boys wistfully wander this empty dreamscape. Now, this meteor could represent different things: the end of a world or time, a powerful wish, as meteors are technically what some make wishes on, or, as some have pointed out on Twitter, the wolf missile that Fuma shot in Go In Blind. And honestly, I believe all of them could be true. After all, the missile represents their howl, their dream being sent out into the world. This dream or wish could represent their desire to debut in Korea and pursue their goals as a global group, marking the death of a journey and the beginning of a new one. A rebirth, so to say. We also have this mirror once again, this time appearing for Haruwa. But, unlike in Breath, where we saw the perspective of the mirror, Haruwa watches his reflection like a painting, as if the version of himself in the mirror is not the same. And it isn't, as the perspective we see shows that the reflection is looking to the side, away from the Haruwa who watches from the front. Most of you have probably watched enough of my content to know that I find Haruwa to be quite suspicious, and have mentioned him plenty of times in my theory videos and reactions. And in my previous video, mentioned that Haruwa could be the son of Vargur, who is known to foresee the future. However, this is just a concept clip, so we'll pin this for now and add it to the many threads we have between Haruwa and time. There are many elements in gaze that we can take and analyze, but it's time to move on to the next one. But don't worry, there is one more connection in gaze and in breath that we will be coming back to. Roar, at this point in time, has been described as reaching the desired destination. It is said that after wandering in the dark, the wolves seem to have finally found peace in the forest, where every scar is embraced. Yet, in the concept clip, this peace seems a little too good to be true. Whether or not this place is actually a paradise, there's no doubt that this mysterious forest is a place of magic. And, in my personal opinion, is reminiscent of the Magic Island, a place in TXT's lore where your dreams or wishes can come true. Especially when you compare this forest to their music video, The Magic Island, and their MV, Sugar Rush Ride. One connecting element within these music videos to this concept is a large tree that sits at the center, full of life. I believe this tree of life is the core of their Magic Island, and the life that exists within it is proof of the magic that exists in this world. It's why in their concept trailer for their mini album Tomorrow, after they came to this world without magic, the tree that was once full of life is now lifeless and lost its color. We also see this tree in Islet's concept trailer for I'll Like You, where the girls sit at the center, evidence of their destiny as girls of magic. Eventually, we also see this tree in their webtoon. Of course, this tree isn't the only proof of the magic within this place. From the flowers, the grass and greenery, to the pools of water, the life we see brightens this otherwise dark forest. Another connection to this magic island is a drunk dazed feeling that one has when they reach this paradise. This magic island, this place of dreams, prevents anyone from leaving as they are left in a daze, addicted to whatever sweet desire this island provides. We've seen this desire take over with TXT, along with Enhypen in their version of the island called the Carnival. And Anteam is no different, as you can see them drunk on the enchanting energy of this island and are fully under its sway. This could also be the cause of why they transform from their grisly selves to these mesmerizing fae, magical beings that are tied to the mystical nature of the forest. And one last connection is, once again, these butterflies. Butterflies, as mentioned, can represent time, other worlds, dreams, and magic, all of which are seen within this concept. The Magic Island, after all, is a place outside of time, a place of dreams that envelops you in your desires, entrapping you within its magic. But butterflies can also represent alternate timelines. So while it can be evidence to this magic island, it could also be evidence to the changing of universes, or proof that multiple dimensions in Anteam's world also exists. Now, one last thing of this magical forest is that it can also hint at their connection to the Witch of Yarasa that we still have yet to meet in their story. In some ways, this concept reminds me of Anteam's performance music video for Go In Blind. a majority of the werewolves wear these dark black and blue clothing, giving the imagery of the moon lighting the way in a dark forest. Their clothes also hide a symbol of both the sun and the moon. And at the center of this dark forest is Yuma, who is the only one dressed in brown and mossy green, with a heart engraved at its core. Because of this, it's possible that Roar is hinting at our wolves finally finding this place where the Witch of Yarasa resides. Though the question in our current time is, why do they look for her? One thread that seems to connect each of these concepts together is Nicholas. In each concept, we at some point see that Nicholas is isolated from the rest. In Breath, Nicholas stands at the center of this ring alone, separated from the rest of the pack, either in place or in time, as we see the isolated version of him standing underneath a darkened sky. In Gaze, Nicholas watches from the ground, his wings scattered on the floor. We soon see in his photos that this version of Nicholas had fallen, and this pair of wings that EJ mourns over could be the loss of this fallen friend. And then lastly, in Roar, unlike the others, Nicholas wanders in this dead forest, with only the color green painting this scene, a color that could connect to the Witch of Yarasa. So what could this all mean? In Firework, we had seen that Nicholas was the one shot by Celine, and though we have no evidence of it due to the webtoons being unreleased, it is possible that she soon takes him under his control, much like could be the case for Sonu. It's why death and loss linger in these concepts, as there's one member precious to their pack, still missing. So if I were to hazard a guess at what these concepts represent and what we could see in their MVs, they would be scars representing a hard-fought battle, loss, and magic, or a dream. Anyways, that's all of my breakdown for Back to Life's concepts so far. A reminder that this is all just for fun and are just my perception and theories of the concepts, not to be taken as fact. And as always, there's so much you could take from these concept clips and photos, but it was fun breaking down the bits that we did. So, what did you see? What do you think these concepts will hint at for their MVs? Feel free to share in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you again next time.